Are we on the verge of a new industrial revolution where robots will replace humans at work? Some experts say yes, while others argue that the human element in the workforce is irreplaceable. What do you think? Let's find out in today's episode of our Science and Tech series. It has been predicted that robots may eventually replace certain jobs currently done by humans, leading to mass unemployment and social unrest. But this also raises an interesting question. Will AI and robotics ever replace humans entirely? Or are there some things that only humans can do? In recent years, advancements in artificial intelligence and robotics have sparked both excitement and fear. As machines become increasingly sophisticated, many people worry about what will happen when robots take over the workforce. But before we get into the details of this argument, let's first look at where this fear comes from. The idea of machines taking over the world is not a new one. It has appeared in science fiction stories for decades. However, with the rise of artificial intelligence and robotics, it has become a more realistic possibility. Many people fear that sooner or later, machines will become so advanced that they will be able to perform any task that a human can do, and even better than humans. This fear is often fueled by images of dystopian futures in which robots rule over humanity, or humans and robots coexist in a tense standoff. However, the reality is much more nuanced than the science fiction suggests. While it is true that machines are becoming more advanced, it is important to remember that they are still just tools. They can do many things very well, but they also have limitations. One of the main arguments against the idea of robots replacing humans is that humans are simply too complex. We are capable of things like creativity, empathy, and critical thinking, which are difficult to replicate in a machine. We are also able to adapt to new situations and learn from our experiences. This makes us valuable employees who can bring unique skills and perspectives to the table. Additionally, humans are also able to build relationships with other people. This is an important skill in many jobs. A robot may be able to do a particular task more efficiently, but it cannot replace the human touch. For example, despite all the advancements in technology, doctors are still required to make decisions about patient care. Nurses are still needed to provide emotional support to patients and their families, and teachers are still needed to inspire and motivate their students. These are all things that robots simply cannot do. However, some experts argue that robots and AI will eventually replace humans in some of these roles. Proponents of this idea point to the increasing sophistication of AI and robotics as evidence that it is only a matter of time before machines are able to do everything that humans can do. They also argue that the benefits of having robots and AI in the workplace outweigh the risks. For example, robots are not subject to human limitations such as fatigue or emotion, which means they can work more efficiently and accurately than humans. They are also less likely to take breaks or call in sick, which means they can help businesses save money on labor costs. So if robots and AI are so beneficial, why are so many people worried about them? One reason is that the transition to a more automated workforce will inevitably lead to job losses. There are already many jobs that are being replaced by robots and AI, such as factory work and data entry. And as machines become more advanced, it is likely that more jobs will be lost. This could lead to widespread unemployment and social unrest if people are not prepared for it. Another concern is that robots and AI could become too powerful and pose a risk to humanity. If we create machines that are smarter and more powerful than us, there is no guarantee that they will act in our best interests. They could potentially harm us or even try to take over the world. This is a common theme in science fiction stories about robots, and it is a real concern that should be taken seriously. Despite these concerns, some experts believe that we are already on the cusp of a new industrial revolution that will be driven by robots and AI. They argue that these technologies will make our lives easier and more productive, and that we should embrace them. However, it is important to remember that this is not inevitable. The future of AI and robotics is up to us, and we need to decide how we want these technologies to develop and how we want them to impact our society. So let's take a look at some of the arguments for and against the idea that robots will replace humans. First, let's consider the argument that humans are simply too complex for machines to replicate. This argument is based on the idea that there are some things that only humans can do, such as being creative, having empathy, and thinking critically. Machines may be able to perform certain tasks more efficiently and accurately than humans, but they cannot replace the human touch. For example, machines can process data and make decisions based on algorithms, but they cannot provide the kind of emotional support that a human can. On the other hand, the pro-robot camp argues that machines are becoming more sophisticated, and there is no reason to believe that they cannot eventually replicate human complexity. They point to advances in artificial intelligence and robotics as evidence that machines are already capable of performing many tasks that were once thought to be exclusive to humans. For example, machines are now being used to diagnose diseases, write music, and even drive cars. So it is possible that sooner or later, machines will be able to do everything that humans can do. The second argument against robots replacing humans is that humans are better at adapting to new situations. We are also able to learn from our experiences and improve our performance over time. In contrast, machines are fixed and cannot improve without human intervention. However, the pro-robot camp argues that machines can be programmed to learn from their experiences and improve their performance over time. Advances in machine learning and AI are making this argument less valid as machines are becoming more adept at learning from data and improving their accuracy and efficiency. But what about the fear that robots will become too powerful and pose a threat to humanity? This fear is rooted in the idea that if we create machines that are smarter and more powerful than us, there is no guarantee that they will act in our best interests. There are many examples of machines that have gone wrong and caused harm to humans. For example, in 2016, a self-driving car from Uber killed a pedestrian in Arizona. And in 2019, an AI system developed by Google's DeepMind AI subsidiary accidentally shut down a power plant in Ohio because it was trying to save money on energy costs. These examples show that machines can make mistakes and cause harm to humans, but they also show that we need to be careful about creating machines that are too powerful and autonomous. However, proponents of robots argue that these examples are not really evidence of machines becoming too powerful. Rather, they are examples of human error. For example, in the case of the Uber self-driving car, the car was programmed to prioritize safety, but the safety parameters were not set correctly. In the case of the DeepMind AI system, the system was not given enough information about the power plant's operations to make informed decisions. These examples show that the problem is not with the machines themselves, but with the humans who created and programmed them. So what does this all mean? Are we on the verge of a new industrial revolution where robots will replace humans at work? Some experts say yes, while others argue that the human element in the workforce is irreplaceable. Ultimately, the answer is not clear, and it is something that we need to continue to debate and discuss. What do you think? Will robots replace humans in the future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, don't forget to subscribe for more science and tech videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time.